All right, all right, all right, all right. Let's get this party started. Hope you guys are having a good time today. I know I am. Welcome to Coffee Tea, You and Me. This is Coach Powell. Every week, week after week, week in, week out, every Friday from the 3 o'clock hour until we get tired of talking, we make sure that we give entrepreneurs, business leaders, sales professionals of all types, all the information, all the conversation, every piece of discussion we possibly can come up with, all the data and resources that we could possibly come up with to share so that they can become more successful in their endeavors, so they can do what they do what they love, and do it with a level of credibility, with a level of sophistication, with a level of confidence that they need to have in order to push forward. I know it is super, super hard to be a business leader. It's super, super hard to be an entrepreneur. So much rest on your shoulders. And in this, post-pandemic world that we live in, everything's up in the air. There's so many things that you have to pay attention to, so many things that you have to be aware of, so many things that you have to focus on. One of the things that you have to focus on is what we're going to talk about today. We're going to talk about mission and why your sense of mission, your mission statements, your mission ideology, your mission passion, everything about your mission is super critical to all of your success. In fact, today's topic, the discussion topic, so to speak, is mission critical. What do you need to do to make sure that the people that you need to identify with your mission do so and do so exceptionally well? What do you need to do to use your mission to create the opportunity that you want to create within yourself, so that you need to be what you need to do to produce and move things forward for your business and your life? So we're going to talk about all those things. We're going to discuss those things in a very serious way. And if you've been following the series so far, you know that this is one of 4 parts of a mission ideology and mission philosophy, things that we're going to be talking about over the next 4 weeks. The first week, I gave you an overall view of what mission is. Today, we're just going to answer one question. Why is mission critical? Why is mission critical to all human endeavor? That's what we're going to discuss, what we're going to talk about. Next week, we're going to talk about how mission answers the question of who. And then after that, we're going to talk about how mission answers the question of what. And then after that, we're going to talk about how mission answers the question of why. And finally, we're going to wrap it all up. We should be at that point in time, somewhere around the end of May, beginning of June. Well, through my birthday celebration, by the way, is coming up May 28th. For those of you who want to know, Memorial Day and me, we're going to have a good time. By the way, anybody have any suggestions, events or things that are going on in the Washington metropolitan area right about that time? I'd like to know, because I'm trying to make a decision as to whether I'm going to stay put and celebrate my birthday alone here in the DMV, or am I going to go somewhere else and do it? Am I going to go visit some of my fraternity brothers out in Ohio, or am I going to stay here? And so if you guys got any ideas of what I might do for the Memorial Day weekend, all alone, because my wife and daughter are going to be off to Paris at that time, let me know. I'm looking forward to hearing from you. My information is right across the screen. So if you're following this and you listen, let me know. Also, by the way, if you want to subscribe, if you want to make sure that you get the updates for all the new stuff that we're going to do, you can follow us on Facebook, you can follow us on LinkedIn, and you can follow us on YouTube. Listen, in the chat, we're going to discuss a lot of things. I've already posted a couple things, a couple ideas that are out there. Today's topic, and the lecture, the discussion points, I guess in an article that I've written, that I've put together, because of course I write about all things mission and why they're important all the time. And so I shared a link to the article, the most recent article that I've written. If I could just polish it off this morning. And so I might make some updates to that, but the link to that is in the chat. So if you're following us on Facebook or on YouTube, you can see that link. If you're following us on LinkedIn, I will post that link later on so that you can see that. I know you can't see that live chat right now, but I'll post it later on in the chat so you can catch that. Also, I posted a link to the current Leverage Up conference. So that's going to be happening at the end of July. It's going to be super, super fun. And we're getting better and better at this conference every time we do. Virtual conference doesn't require anything for anybody. We're looking for new partners and new sponsors. to come on board. If you follow any of the links that we have for previous conferences, you can go back and check it out on demand so you can see what it's like. It's 5.5 intense hours of information and opportunity to interact and connect with entrepreneurs and business leaders that you would not have a chance to connect with without this conference. And so if you missed the last 2 conferences, the last 3 conferences, as a matter of fact, if you missed the last conferences, don't worry. We're going to do one every quarter. And this one in July coming up is no different. If you're going to miss the conference for whatever reason, it's all going to be recorded, so you don't have to worry about that. Go ahead and get your early bird ticket, because we're only going to have access for 250 people at this particular conference. And so we want to sort of narrow the scope down from where we were before, because we want to create a little bit more of an intimate atmosphere. Even though it's still going to be online, I want to make sure that we do everything we can to create it. So demand is high, and so to get your tickets now before they go bye-bye. Other than that, we're going to get this party started after these messages. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, welcome to Coffee, Tea, You and Me with Coach Powell. This is the coaching moment. This is the discussion time. This is the opportunity for you to engage, to ask any questions, to get down your thoughts, to get a shout out if you need to have a shout out for whatever you're doing in your business and in your world. I don't want to know who you are, where you are, how you found us, where you're coming from. If you have any thoughts about mission, share them in the chat. I love to hear from you. If you have anything you want to share about your business, or anything you want to share that you want other people to know about you, again, put that information in the chat. Your phone number, telephone, your phone number, your contact information, your website information. Everything is fair game. This is a business-friendly environment. As long as you don't put anything salacious in there, I'm not going to have a problem with it. So hit me up. Let me know where you're coming from. Let me know, how you found us. Let me know how you heard about us, where you're watching from. What if you're watching from YouTube, or you're watching from LinkedIn, or you watching from Facebook? Doesn't matter. Love to know. More engagement, the more possibilities. The more you engage with me, the more I'm going to give you the quality of the work that you need to have, the things that you need to see in order to make yourself more successful and make your business more successful. Okay, let's get right into it. If you can, pull up the article. Pull up the article that I just read, that I put here in the links here for you. You can access that article right here on LinkedIn. It's just one of the things that I do quite a bit. I like to write. I love to put thoughts and ideas on paper and make sure I create training all the time. It's just a habit of mine. And so I'm at it, sometimes 3, 4 o'clock in the morning, like, how do I convey this message? How do I get people to understand this thought? What do I need to share with them to do that? And as I move forward and become a better and better and better coach, I create greater and greater content. And so if you look at my old stuff, you're going to realize, like, oh, wow, he's been intellectually, he's grown emotionally. And there's so many different things now he can express in ways that he couldn't before. So, I posted an article right there, and it's got some great graphics and some information in there I'm going to share with you. Right off the bat, we got to talk about mission. What is mission, and why does it work? What is it all about, this mission thing? How does mission help you sustain your energy? How does it help you motivate your team and yourself to move forward? How do you increase your commitment to persistence and then keep going? How does mission help you do all that stuff? And so my supposition is mission is critical to all action. If you're taking action that's not based on mission, then you probably have some problems that we're going to talk about in this discussion. But I hope you are focused on making sure that you have a brilliantly articulated, well-written mission, because you're going to want to be able to share that. You're going to want to be able to feel that. You're going to want to be able to emote that. You're going to want to be able to, embody it all 100%. You want to get all in onto your mission. Bill Belichick says this: what we can control is our performance and our execution. That's what we're going to focus on. What we can control is our performance and our execution. That's what we're going to focus on. Now, if you have a great mission statement, if you have a solid, well-written, brilliantly articulated mission statement, ideology, thought process, then you're not going to have a problem with what Bill Belichick says. You're not going to have a problem with thinking that you're in control, because you're going to recognize you're in control. You're not going to have a problem looking and examining your performance and your execution based on what your mission statement is, because it's going to help you align your thoughts, your ideas, and your practices in a way that are going to be absolutely brilliant. And finally, you're going to be able to focus. You're going to be able to focus like nobody's business. I can't tell you how important this is. You're just going to have to experience it in a way that I think is going to be relevant to you. Another quote what I want to share with you is from the Buddha. And if you see the illustration here, I'm talking about the three keys or three elements to your mission mindset, right? Your mission statements, the things that you need to do to create an overall sense of mission, right? And Buddha says, your purpose in life is to find your purpose and give your whole heart and soul to it. Now, think about that for a second. How do you give your whole heart and soul to something that you're not sure about? How do you give your whole heart and soul to something that you can't control? How do you give your heart and soul to something that you're not really able to perform or execute well in? So Buddha reminds us again in his way how important, how critical a sense of mission is, because without one, you have no way of aligning that purpose, right? You have no way of connecting your identity, your value, what you bring to the table. You have no way of connecting it to something serious. You have no way of connecting it to something that you can execute, that you can act on, that you will act on in a serious way and focus on most of the time. And so I've discovered over the many years, as I work with thousands of clients all over the world, that having an ideology, a mission-based ideology that focuses on your mindset, your senses, and wrapping that up in a nice statement matters tremendously to your ability to act, move forward, to be resilient, to focus, and all the good things you have to happen to do what you need to do. So how's that? Let's get into it. First of all, the mindset. If you have a mission mindset, you have an established attitude and a set of beliefs that bring you right back to your purpose. They bring you right back to your reason for being. It helps you connect to your identity, your destiny, and a place of emotional belonging. So that's important, because when you think about it, if you're off mission, you kind of lose a sense of who you are. It's terrible for your memory. It's terrible for your sense of self. It's terrible for your identity, right? You lose your sense of place in this world. Where do you belong? How do you fit in? What can people hold you accountable for? What would you be willing to invest in? All these questions you can't answer without a well-written, well-defined, well-understood, embraced sense of mission. Your mindset has to be a mission mindset. Your mindset has to be one that also reminds you, and it's an internal thing, it has to be one that can be stimulated by external things, right? So your environment, through your senses, your environment should stimulate your thoughts and your passions, right? It should stimulate your conscious ability to accept the role that you have, the vocation that you have, the spirit that you have. All of that should be able to be stimulated from your outside environment. Well, what is your outside environment? It's the people that you surround yourself with. It's the things that you surround yourself with. It is that stuff that reminds you, right, of who you are, how you belong, how you fit in, where you're going, all that kind of stuff. And it's external. Those external reminders have to be there. Because if those external reminders aren't there to, again, refocus you, to get you back on track, to make sure that you're doing the things that you need to do, it's very difficult for you to avoid making senseless mistakes along the way. It's very difficult for you to avoid falling off the beaten path, so to speak, and going in a direction where it may lead to chaos. It may lead to loneliness and isolation, right? But if you have a very clear mission, if you have a very clear understanding that you can always use your external resources to bring you back to. Think about the people that you surround yourself with. Think about the books that you read. Think about the environment that you exist in. How is it helping you serve your mission? If it's not helping you serve your mission, maybe it's something that you should think about getting rid of. Maybe it's something that you should think about evaluating. This is something that I need to have in my life, in my universe. If it's taking you off mission, right? That's why having a sense of clarity about that mission is super, super important, because then you can begin to place in your environment or accept in your environment the things that are good for you, right? The things that help propel you, things that help you move you forward, the people that help you move forward. You can go to the places that help you move forward. It helps you find that sense of belonging, that tribe that you need to have, that secures your thoughts and so on and so forth. And later on, we talked about this earlier when we talked about connection, right? How you need to have a sense of connection with the thing. You need to have a sense of connection with your mission, not just the people. The people also need to be connected to their mission or your mission, but understanding what those are and being able to articulate them brilliantly, it helps everyone know what everybody's up to, right? What we can do, how we can work together, if we can work together, where we can collaborate, where we need to separate. All these things become very, very clear the more you are accepting of and the more you can embrace the critical nature of having a mission. Next thing we got to talk about is the statement itself. Okay, it's great that you have a mindset that's internal and that you know how to focus on those things, you know how to bring those things out from yourself, right? But it's also great that you know how to set up the environment, right, to stimulate you and make sure that you're stimulating those thought processes and that energy and so on and so forth, and bring all that together so that you can do well, right? But the statement is a written document. It is a written and documented expression of what your mission is. And it could be a paragraph long, 2 paragraphs long. It could be a sentence. It could be whatever it takes to help you accomplish what you need to accomplish. That's what that statement needs to do for you, right? It needs to help you easily access information that helps you sustain your motivation and move forward. Right? It helps you to expound upon your ideas in a clear way and create a more supportive environment for all of your endeavors, so that when other people hear this mission statement, they see not only what you're all about, but how they might be able to get involved to assist you if that's their inclination. Or they may help you figure out how to go faster. They may help you figure out how to strengthen the efforts that you're doing, the achievements that you're trying to get to, the goals that you're trying to create, right? All those things become more easily accessible and easy to recruit and to identify resources that might be available to you when you can clearly articulate a well done, well thought through, well developed mission statement. So y'all work together: your mission mindset, your mission sense, and your mission statement. If you don't have these three all working together, then you got a problem. You got a disconnect, right? Because your environment then cannot help you stimulate these feelings and these thoughts that you need to have if that's not right, right? And your mindset, if that's not right, it doesn't matter what you have in your environment, because nothing's going to work, because you don't have a really system of clarity about where you're going and what you're going to do in any old thing. Will excite you and attract you and cause you to lose your focus and grab your attention. Without a sense of mission, you're kind of all over the place emotionally, mentally, right? Internally. So you got to have that. And the statement is what wraps that all up. And the statement is something that you can present to yourself, keep in front of you. I keep my mission statements in front of me. I keep my declarations in front of me all the time. Things that I'm all about, things that I want to remind myself of. It's in my daily planner every day. It reminds me. Every day I read it and I go back to, these are the things that I'm all about. These are the things that make me me. These are the things that make me tick. These are the things that excite me, that energize me. These are the reasons for my existence, right? Super, super important. I'm going to read this statement to you because I think this clearly articulates where I'm coming from and what I mean to say in this first piece, right? I have found that all of my major endeavors, both professionally and personally, have a super strong foundational mission, and it makes it so much easier to stay in the right headspace and engage the world around me properly. Like if my mission as a father is different than my mission as a son, and my mission as an entrepreneur is different than my mission as a community leader, which is different than my mission, and I have a mission for every role that I play. Right? I'm not in a box in that way, in that regard. I'm connected to everything, but my mission is not the same everywhere I go, because the subtle tweaks on what I want to do and how I want to do things in that particular role might be different. Now, my overarching purposeful mission is super important for me to keep in front of myself, because I might get caught up in another mission. That's the thing you gotta be careful of. If you get too caught up in the roles that you have and so on and so forth, and they're taking you off of your core mission, you have to make sure that's a temporary thing, and your core mission should call to you and bring you back in line, right? So to what you're doing, to where you're focusing and where you're trying to go. And so you want to make sure that you know how to set up and use your mission to exist sustainably, and you want to be users to be able to validate and communicate your thoughts, and not just your actions but your expressions, right? And you want to make it easier to attract and utilize the resources that you can attract correctly. It's a big job the mission statement has to do. That's why I'm going to take like 4 different episodes in order to fully flesh out all the ideas. One of the main ideas that I'm going to share with you about mission is it helps to drive your energy. It helps you to drive your initial motivation. It helps you to do what I call power up, right? You generate the strength and enthusiasm that you need to sustain a necessary physical and mental activity, right? You're getting stronger, right? It ignites your passions with your team. When they see you doing well and you're doing the things they need to do, and they're doing well, they see themselves doing things they need to do. Everyone is like encouraged and empowered, and it feels great. A mission helps you accomplish that really, really well. When you have a good mission mindset, it helps you accomplish that really, really well. It helps you to create an unmatched exuberance and a willingness to push forward. I can't say enough about that, because when you have that spirit, that missionary zeal, right? There's nothing that other people can put in front of you in the short term that can deter you. There's no obstacle in the short term that can deter you. You just kind of bust right through those obstacles. You kind of keep moving forward. You and your team, you don't focus on the little stumbles or the mishaps or the misplaced, ideas and thoughts. You just keep moving forward because you have such a passion for your mission. Done well, you get to put the time and the resources forward that makes you construct the right kind of mission statement, right? When you do this well, you don't have to cheat, right? And what I mean by that is there's only a certain amount of energy that any of us has, individually and collectively. There's only so much energy we have, right? And if we don't have enough energy to move our mission forward, right, then the activities that we do are kind of stealing. We're stealing energy from someplace else in order to justify, validate doing what we're doing. And anybody who's ever been given a job that they hate, or been doing a task or something that they don't like doing, that they just really don't enjoy it, and it really drains them of their energy, is because they're borrowing the energy and they're not replenishing the energy. They don't have an internal source to even replenish the energy. But a sense of mission is so wired into who you are. It's so wired into how you're connected. It powers itself. It's a self-generating power source. So much so that you can get in the zone. You can create flow state. You can get your mojo working, so to speak. And everybody has ever written the works of Mikhail Csikszentmihalyi, right? He talks about flow state, right? And I put a link to the article about that. It's so super important to understand how flow represents your ability to connect to something so well that you lose time, right? You lose a sense of who you are in it. You're just doing it. You're just in it. You're just experiencing it, right? And this, in and of itself, once you get into flow, and that happens to me all the time when I'm writing or I'm speaking or I'm sharing some ideas for an audience or with any of my coaching clients, Once you get into flow state, what begins to happen is the insight and the clarity that you literally designed to have for yourself from your mission statement actually begins to happen, right? It begins to wake you up. It begins to drive your insight and your clarity. It begins to make sure that, your mission then becomes a focal point and a nucleus for everything you need to do. It becomes the building block of all your activities. It helps you, drive yourself back to those high levels of concentration almost effortlessly, because it's what you feel born to do. It's what you feel connected to. It's what you feel a sense of your own, how would you find your own purpose for existence, your sense of destiny. All of this is tied up into your mission. Here's the problem though. Once you start questioning your mission, right, it becomes increasingly more difficult to justify any activity that you're going to do. As soon as you start going, well, I'm not sure this sounds right to me. I'm not sure this feels good to me. I'm not sure this is the right thing. And I'm not saying don't question it. Test it. You should test it all day, every day, along the way, often, over and over again, right? Don't just write the mission statement or accept the mission or accept the tasking or accept the orders that are coming for you wrote ad nauseum, because at some point you're going to lose yourself. You're not going to be able to, define who you are in that thing. Yes, you can get the job done, but you cannot sustain that activity. And it becomes more and more difficult to sustain activity when you don't have a sense of connection to it, when you don't see a reason for it, right? Your mission statements done well explain quite simply what you are all about. And it gives you a litmus test to check and recheck your intentions, the quality of your work. Even before any of the results come in, you get to see what it means to be on mission. You get to see what it means to be on point, on time. What it feels like to be true to who you are, to what you believe in, to the activities that you should be doing. You get to see all that. Super, super, super important. Have any of you ever felt like, you didn't really have what it took to to create that energy, the juice that you needed to continue to go? It's probably, you can go right back to that mission. Maybe you don't understand what that mission is. Maybe you're not plugged in to engaging with the team. Maybe you don't like something that's happening and you can't see how that's connected to your mission, or everybody else is off mission. So why should you be? All these things will keep you from using the right energy. All these things will keep you from going into flow state and having the insight and the clarity that you need to have. And so without that, you can't do what this next thing is, which is to keep pushing, right? You can't be resilient because it's not right from the beginning. Maybe you're doing the task, maybe you're doing the job, but you're not connected to the mission. If you're not connected to the mission, it's hard to be resilient. It's hard to keep moving. When you have a full sense of mission, it dramatically increases your resilience. It dramatically helps you identify how to move forward, even when there's obstacles against you, even when there's the thought of defeat and the thought of failure. You bust right through that stuff because you have such a keen sense of identity associated with the mission itself. And you don't give up on yourself that easily. Once you've built up that energy, you've built up that strength, right? You've developed that insight, that clarity that you need to have. It's hard for you to go backwards. This is why it's hard for people to change, by the way. Once you're convinced that you're right, once you're convinced that you're doing the right thing, it's very, very difficult to move the needle on that and move that around. And so the things that you're committed to are easier to stay committed to than to switch and to move into different habits. We talked about that in the habits section earlier. I can't even remember what episode, but if you go back and listen, we talked all about, for a couple of episodes, how do you develop your habits, how do you keep your habits going forward, all that kind of good stuff. So because it's a part of the VisionQuest system. But super, super important, mission helps you keep pushing. If you've got a great mission, well-defined, well-organized, well-understood, well-articulated, then I think that you've got something that's going to help you generate that energy, get that clarity going, and allow you to be more resilient in the face of any adversities. And this has become essential, right? Any plan that you have that you can't convey with the level of conviction and pride, the passion and the drive that's going to be essential for you to engage completely in every action that you have to take, it becomes difficult then for others to go, I want to invest in you. I want to support you. I want to be with you. I want to play with you. I want to be along. I want to get along with what you're doing. I want to identify. I want to become a part of what I see that what you're doing is connected to who I am and what I'm doing, what I'd like to do for myself. And so I want to be able to, I want to be there. But if you cannot clearly articulate it, if you can't, if it's not well written, if it's not well defined, if it's not exciting and interesting to yourself, it really certainly won't be exciting and interesting to anybody else, right? And so think about that. It will help you develop your resources. It will help you find the support that you need. Whether you need more time, more talent, more treasure from yourself or other people, you need that mission, that sense of mission to really drive it forward. And I can't say this with enough clarity, with enough distinction. And I have to just harp on this. It must be written down. It must be written down. It must be written. Not only written on paper, but it must be written in your heart. If your mission is not fully, if you can't fully embrace it, all these benefits that I just shared with you, you cannot have. You won't have the insight, you won't have the clarity, you won't have the power, you won't have the resilience that you need to have to keep yourself moving forward in a sustainable way. And that's why mission is so critical to all of our human endeavors. Now, I've written about this extensively on several different occasions. I have got 4 articles dedicated to it on my website. I think I put a link into the article that I just shared with you. I've got other training that has branched off from those ideas and things like that. You know, I do this kind of stuff, you know, when I'm sleeping, right? Before I should be sleeping. And I love it. I love sharing information and sharing ideas and helping create and teaching others. If you want to play with me, then you got my information right here. You know, my information is scrolling right across the screen. You can find me, you can text me, you can Google me, you can search me. I'm pretty easily accessible and growing more easily accessible the more content I create for the web, quite frankly. And I love doing it. So, you know, that's what we're all about. I want to make sure that I remind you again, if you haven't gotten your tickets yet for the July conference, go ahead and do so. Please do. If for some reason you need a scholarship and you can't afford the $49 price right now, which I can't imagine that anybody can't, but if you can't get to even to that $49 price, but you desperately want to come to this conference, give me a call. Let's talk about it. I might be able to hook you up with a couple, because I have tickets that, you know, I reserve just for that purpose. So don't think that, you know, you can't get to it. If you want to get to it, you can get to it. And even if you can't come, you know, you can always catch the recording. You know, it's not going to be good as being live, being right there, I will tell you. But it's going to be super good even in the recording process. And you can go back and watch some of the old recordings if you want to. Okay, guys, I had a great time. This is it for Coffee, Tea, You and Me today. God bless you. God bless all your endeavors. I hope that you are as successful as you need to be, because it is my mission and my passion to save as many entrepreneurs as I can from the statistic that says that 5 out of 6 of us are not going to be in business beyond the first 1 or 2 years in business. This is ridiculous. It's so important because, you know, we are the heartbeat of the American economy. And when we do our thing and we do it really well, everything works. There's more jobs. There's more, you know, tax base. Everything happens more successfully. So let's keep at it. Keep swinging, guys. Keep doing the thing that you do. This is Coach Powell, Coach Powell Training and Development, signing out. Coffee, Tea, You and Me, and we're gone.